Right.
Action?
Action.
Okay, let's begin with some jumping jacks. Welcome, everybody. We're missing. That's okay. Monday night, I wanted to talk about a couple things. First of all, in the Engage cell, can you page down just a little bit, or is this week? Yeah, week 4, module 4. When I do a PowerPoint now in class, I'm putting it right in class materials for that week, okay? For example, this week, go down, Matt. This week, we're going to be, I'm going to do a Starbucks review, and then I'm going to do another PowerPoint. Are the quizzes helpful? Because I don't want to go through the chapters, and I don't want to do PowerPoints on the chapters. The quizzes and the chapters are helping you this semester, this 8-week period, in doing your videos. And I'm trying to bring supplemental materials in it, so it's sort of flipped. I know everybody's doing well on the quizzes, though. Almost everybody. The case study questions, the responses, that worked out real well. Every team submitted with their names on it. And what was nice, the ones whose names weren't on that, they did their own. So that's good. And right now, this class, I'm going to start moving in a direction for what we're going to do the second 8 weeks, which is the simulation. And we'll probably talk about the simulation next week's week 6. We'll really talk about how to purchase it and how we prepare. Week 8, we'll do a week 7, we'll do a lot on the simulation. We'll actually go through the simulation, how it works. Week 8, we're going to do your presentations. Week 9, we won't have any class, but there'll be some simulation assignments and some other. The first week of the second 8, we won't have class. All right. So I did this. Where am I? What I did is put some together for the Starbucks case study. And it's, yeah. So I put this together. And so tonight we're going to go through this. Then we're going to go through another PowerPoint on segmentation, targeting, and positioning, which is what you're going to be doing in the simulation. We'll break out, let you work on your case study questions. Next week we have a quiz due, Chapter 7. We have the Disney case study summaries. And we also have the, which company is it? Come on. Coke and Pepsi questions. Okay? So I hope the format of the class, you feel like you're learning something. But the videos are a big part of it, and then the simulation is going to be quite involved. All right? You're either going to like that or not like it. And I may add one more team for the simulation. And I might make a team of the students that don't attend the live class, either in or that. So I don't think it's fair for the rest of the group members to be working on the simulation and the other team members isn't there. All right? So, this case, it sort of shows how Wall Street pushes companies to overextend, to grow. And it's very hard to maintain 20% growth rates. And you're going to get to a point in your company it's near impossible. So Starbucks in the last 10 years, changes in consumer behavior, booming economy allowed for fast growth. But Starbucks has, in some markets, oversaturated the market. And they talk about cannibalism. Instead of going to this store, I go to this Starbucks store. And there's been some recent negatives about Starbucks, both on the employee, how they take care of their employees, some things on the real estate. In this case, there was some negative publicity on Starbucks on what they were putting in their beverages in India. That turned out to be untrue, though, wasn't it? Carcinogenic. Oh, I'm thinking of the India Coke and Pepsi. Yeah. I keep confusing these. Sorry. So, So Starbucks is going to go international. And there's controllables and there's uncontrollables when you go to international. And what this case does is starts thinking about what's involved in going international. And one of the lessons we learn in this case is going international will help the company at times, but rushing will hurt it. They make mistakes and spend resources that you don't need. All right. In Starbucks' case, signs of problems are already manifesting themselves in declining sales and profits in Japan and the UK. As the company has rushed into new markets, it has seen initial interest in sales even in the traditional tea drinking countries, but because of difference in consumer tastes and behaviors, in same-store sales have slowed. All right, same-store sales. That's a big measure in retailing, same-store sales. All right. So when Starbucks is looking at its U.S., did it grow or not? Yeah, on their income statement, you'll see revenues that it grow, and we can compare that. But you'll see when we're comparing, we look at the same stores. So if some stores were opened, they don't count this year versus last year. If some stores were closed this year, we don't count them from last year. But we want same stores. You can grow by increasing outlets, but it's better to grow by increasing the dollar revenue in each of your outlets. Okay. So here's some controllables. The pace of entry, where they enter, how they enter, pricing, product line, methods of distribution and promotion. And we're going to talk today about segmenting, targeting, and positioning. And positioning deals with the 4 Ps, all right, of marketing. You guys should have had this at one time. We have to have a product. We have to have a price for that product. We have to have a place we sell it, which is also distribution. And then we have some type of promotion, which can be advertising, it can be discounts, that type of stuff. Most recently, Starbucks expanding both in product line and distribution channels in the tough Japanese market. In China, Starbucks is very, very well accepted. All right? So uncontrollables, there's some uncontrollables. Some anti-Americanism, anti-globalism, we have to worry about terrorism, pirating and copying, competition, market saturation, consumer behavior differences and changes. So these are some of the uncontrollables. And a lot of people mention, well, groups mention some of these. Okay? Risks. Okay? Well, your uncontrollables are risk factors. But also we have risk of trying to meet Wall Street's expectations, lower profits overseas, must work with local partners, difficulty of maintaining quality of customer service in most international markets, decline in the economy, burning out the brand. Okay? And one of the things you have to do in international marketing is you better do your research first. And can Starbucks go into the Japanese market the same way it went into the Chinese market? Can it replicate the same thing and be successful? And that's not always the case. All right? In the simulation, you're going to do a lot of research on facts that are already in the simulation. Consumer preferences, demographics, distribution channels. You're going to do a lot of research, and I'm going to have 3 exercises with it that help us understand how to choose which markets to go into, what to sell in those markets, who to sell them to, where to sell them to, how to promote them, and then how to grow into another market. All right. Their overall strategy, hyper-growth. There's been blunders sometimes in new markets by not doing your research. Again, must be careful growth based on research and experimentation, test marketing, and products and operations. Most recently, in a continuation of risky growth, Starbucks is planning on entering the economically volatile Mexican market. Our Mexican market, are they going to be willing to pay $3, $4 for a cup of coffee? And perhaps the same model, maybe in cities like Mexico City, they could be very successful with the U.S. type of store. Right. Some ideas on profitability in Japan. Experiment with a variety of ways to broaden the product line, possibly to include alcoholic beverages and hot food. They did test market alcohol in 3 Seattles previously, but decided to close them. It might help them finding the right product service mix in Japan. So that's what it's all about, product service. What products can we be successful in Japan? And what services do we have to offer to the customers? Why do people go to Starbucks now? Various reasons, I guess. In the U.S., because they're used to going to it. Starbucks has drive-through. They have drive-through. People they prefer that coffee, and they do it every day. You also got the group that go in, small groups. They got the little conversation. You also have people go in there. They want to do their internet stuff while they're at Starbucks. I'm still stunned that Starbucks is successful because they don't turn their tables. People go into Starbucks and they sit in those tables for a while, don't they?
But they have so much, takeaway.
The takeaway, because of that, it offsets that, is what you say.
I think.
Eventually, well, they have to. What else? Distribution channels may be experimented. They actually put a joint venture in a car dealership, Starbucks in a car dealership. Vending machines, because the Japanese love vending machines. All right. So the book is saying they're sure that they did some extensive marketing research, but you still have to be willing to adapt and make changes depending on what's going on. Could Dunkin' Donuts be successful? They have more more presence in the global market than I thought they did. Dunkin' Donuts too, but Starbucks way ahead of them. All right, so that's Starbucks. That's enough on Starbucks. Anybody want to add anything? So these cases aren't too difficult. They're not too long. The questions are relevant to what we're trying to learn. And we'll just, for your own sake, and looking at your grading, I'll give you what I think are some of the responses. Okay. So I put this together, and this is what marketing is all about: market segmentation, targeting, and positioning. But before you can do any of that, you have to do research. So the term segmentation was first used way back in 1956 in the journal Marketing. His idea was quite simple: divide your customers into categories and interact with them differently. Interact with different categories differently. Then you'll be able to supply products and service to various clients that perfectly meet their needs. Okay? As the world economy became more globalized, the number of opportunities for creating demand of universal goods keeps on increasing. Now we're implying segmentation on a global level, which is a more complex method. All right? Here's some advantages of segmenting. We want to break a homogeneous market into heterogeneous segments. Allows or forces the market to analyze and consider both the needs of the market and the company's ability to deliver or competently serve those needs. So we're better informed about our customers, and we're better giving our customers what they need. All right? We also need to look at competitor offerings and marketing positions. What's the competitive advantages and disadvantages? Helping to clarify its own positioning strategy. So when we say positioning, again, we're talking about the 4 Ps: our product, our price, our place, and how we promote. That's our positioning strategy. And that's going to be based on where we're marketing and who we're marketing to. All right? Limited resources are used to best advantages, so we may target those markets or segments that offer us the best potential instead of wasting all resources on them. And I'll show you more of that later in this PowerPoint. Segmentation is used in developing strategic plans, helps in identifying, formulating objectives, and creating competitive advantage. Strategic initiatives. Segmentation is used in financial planning, development of new products and services, and during evaluation of various initiatives. Organizational structure. What structure do we need to meet the different segments that we're going after? And it's all about providing better client service as well as efficiency in whatever we're doing. All right? Marketing activity. Segmentation is used to improve and refocus attention on gaining new customers, retention of existing customers, and potentially selling additional products to existing customers. So there's 3 ways you can grow, right? Gaining new customers. Well, retention of existing customers, you want that. It doesn't help you grow unless you're selling additional products to additional customers. All right? Expanding the breadth of our product line or depth. Breadth, when you talk marketing, we talk breadth and depth. Okay? Breadth has to do with how many different products I sell, the breadth of my product line. Depth has to do with how many different do I have in each of those product lines. How deep do I go? How many different SKUs do I have for that? All right. Starbucks, what's their breadth? They got coffee. They got some types of food. What else? But they go pretty deep in their different alternatives of coffee, right? You have so many. All right. Global segmentation, on the other hand, is the process of identifying specific segments of potential consumers in the form of a group of countries or group of individual consumers with a similar demands and buying behavior patterns. Right, so we're looking for groups with similar needs. In global marketing, market segmentation becomes especially critical because of wide diversion in cross-border consumer needs and lifestyles. Okay? Just comparing the U.S. market to the Japanese market for Starbucks. All right. 4 different approaches to global segmentation. Okay? Identifying segments which are present in all of the countries. Right? If you have a segment in all the countries that are similar, you can use just one type of product. You can have global type marketing. Identifying clusters of countries that demand similar goods. And we're doing a little bit of this in our regional analysis. We're making that assumption that some of these countries in the regions you're analyzing are going to have demand similar goods. Not as much in Europe though, right? Focusing on similar segments that demand similar products. And 4, targeting different segments in different countries with the same goods. So that's what Hassan and Kraft, this is important. Right? So once we've chose our target segments, we need to determine competitive positioning strategy for the products. And so here's segmentation. It's a process of classifying customers into groups which share some common characteristics. Right? Could be age. Targeting, on the other hand, involves the process of evaluating each segment's attractiveness and selecting one or more segments to enter. So here's our different segments. And here's what's common for each of these segments. why we define this as a segment. Now we have to evaluate which of these segments is most attractive to us. And our terms to capture market share in that segment and customers. We have the ability to serve that in a way that our competitors can't, in the way our potential customers desire. Positioning is arranging for a product to occupy a clear, distinctive, and desirable place relative to competing products in the minds of consumers. So Starbucks is doing that in different countries in different ways. All right, so this is the STP process. All right. Here's some requirements for an effective segmentation. All right. It's got to be measurable. All right. What's the purchasing power? How do we measure it? Accessible. We can define and we can effectively reach and serve that segment. Substantial. They're large enough to profitable enough to serve it. We can make money on it. Differential. Segments respond differently to different marketing mix elements and programs. So what I want to do for this segment is different than what I'm going to do for this segment. And actionable. Effective programs be designed to attract and serve the segments. All right. So requirements for effective segmentation. All right. A target market is a group of people toward whom a firm markets goods, service, or ideas with a strategy designed to satisfy their specific needs and preferences. Here's our target market. All right. We identified these many segments. We're going to go after this target and this, and we may go on another target market. We can serve more than one target market. But typically, when you serve more than one target market, it's with a different marketing plan or positioning to satisfy the needs of different segments. All right. All right. So here's steps in segmentation, targeting, and positioning. All right. So the first two have to do with market segmentation. We're going from the bottom up. What criteria are we going to use to segment the marketing? All right. Once we do that, now we have information on these segments. All right. And you can have as many segments as you want. And each profile will be different. It's up to the firm. Some product lines are going to have very few segments. Other product lines are going to have many segments. All right? Develop, now we're going into target marketing. What criteria are we going to use to decide who our target market is? All right? And from that, we can select our target segments. Okay? What's the rationale? Then we have marketing positioning, develop positioning strategy for each segment, all right? As well as developing a marketing mix for each target segment. And that's marketing position. And you're going to be doing these actions in this order for the simulation. All right? And I'll be helping with you. I'll have some criteria that we use to identify segments and how we can profile the segments. There'll be information that helps you develop. Here's our selection criteria. Some of it I'm going to make you. We're going to be doing something called market attractiveness. We're going to be looking at different markets, which ones are most attractive. And this criteria we'll use for that. And then it's going to be up to you for your marketing positioning. And we also want to look at what our competitors are doing. In the simulation, though, there's two types of simulation. One is a competitive simulation and one is a benchmark. In a competitive simulation, what she does on her team affects your performance given on what you do on your team. Everybody's competing against everybody else. A benchmark simulation is everybody's competing in their own unique simulation. Okay? What you do is not going to affect her. But what she does is going to be affected by the other companies in the simulation, which none of us control. All right? So you're trying to get a unique marketing position that satisfies the segment based on your product, price, place, and promotion. Okay. All right, steps, levels of marketing segmentation. So, of course, we got mass market. No segmentation. One size fits all. All right. Segment marketing. We're looking at one or two segments. That's some segment. Now I always say niche when I watch, what do I watch on TV? Mark, Dallas Mavericks owner, Shark Tank. They say, what do they say? Niche? Niche. I just say niche. All right? Different products to subgroups within segments. So you're segmenting segments already. Micro marketing, now you're really almost individual tastes and locations. All right? And then a difference between local and individual marketing here. All right? Some basis, this is pretty simple. Geographically, we can do it. U.S., one type of segmentation is West Coast and East Coast and everything else in the middle, right? Similarities between West Coast and East Coast. Demographics, age, gender, family size, life cycle, income. Psychographic, we're going to talk about that a little bit. Lifestyle, social class. Behavioral is another form of segmentation. All right, this is pretty cool. Let's open Tapestry. You're going to like these. You can play. Let's open Prism first. Should open right up. Oh. Nope. Can you copy and paste?
Yeah.
You'll like these. All right. Go to, Prism has, how many go all the way down, Matt? In the U.S., they've come up with 68 different segments based on lifestyles and some other things, okay? And you could get a description of any of these. And they give the names to each segment. For example, number 1, upscale younger, or number 13, upscale younger family mix. Can we go up to the top? Oh, you can open that. Any one of them, I don't care. All right, this is the class, and it tells all about it. All right, this is upscale younger family mix. Close that. Let's go to the top of this mat, all the way up, all the way up. Let's go to zip code lookup. I need your zip code. 13413. 13413. Watch this. Ta-da. All right. So it's saying in your zip code, these are the 5 classifications that dominate that. Big fish, small pond is upscale, mature, mostly without kids. Who's in that category?
Big fish, small pond.
Middleburg managers, upscale, middle-aged, family mix. Traditional times, upper, mid-scale, mature, without kids. Golden Ponds, downscaled, older, mostly without kids. And Crossroad villagers. But we can also do this. Can you page down a little bit, Matt? Let's start on the first one. Yep. Households by income, so it breaks up income in that marketplace. So 18% of the households have 50 to 75%, $50 to $75,000 household income. 17% have 100, 150. 14% have over 150. 14% have less than 25. This is a pretty, oh, that's New Hartford. Yeah. All right, let's go to the next one. This is household composition. All right. Number of people in the household, and then the form of the household. The third one has, next, age group. Ooh, it's an older, what's that percentage? About 27% are over 65%.
Well,
And about
no, they're,
9,
retirement.
21, 35% are under 34.
There are a couple, retirement homes.
Oh, a couple retirement homes too. Okay.
Do that.
And then the last one is race and ethnicity. Okay. One on the left has everything, the one on the right is just Hispanic and non-Hispanic. Can we go back to the top map? No, wait, hold on a second. Let's go back to the first one. Which one had income? The first or second? Yeah. All right. Let's go up to the top. Look at that. Let's go up to the top. Let's do, Matt, what's your, or should we do Utica? Now we're going to get a little more rural, right, Matt?
A lot more rural.
A lot more rural. There's Matt's. See how they changed? Matt, so which are you? Are you a Big Sky family, upper mid-scale, middle-aged, mostly with kids?
Nope.
Are you a country casual, upper mid, older, mostly without kids?
No.
Are you a hometown retired?
No.
Are you country strong?
No.
What the hell are you living there for?
I'm an aberration.
Well, you're going to have kids soon. Oh, did I tell you that? Well, you told me your wife wanted a new Explorer, right?
Yeah.
So one goes with the other.
Yeah.
Am I telling you secrets?
Sorry.
But this one's called Prism. So let's close this down. And let's go to, we can go to Mindbase. Thank you, Matt. Isn't he good? He's great, isn't he? Wow, Mindbase. All right, keep going. The Mindbase segments. All right, this is cool because you can take the test on this. Which one of these you are. Go down, Matt. Right here. Take the Mind short survey. Which one do you think you are, guys? Okay, and you can be a combination of things. So go close that one out. Let's open the other, either one of those. All right, go to the 67 distinct markets, 14 life groups, and 6 urbanization groups. So that's, can you page down? These are their segments, okay? Life mode 1, affluent estates, and there's 5 different ones on that. Life mode 2, upscale avenues. And it tells a little bit about it, and there's, how many of those? 1, 2, let's open one, Matt. Open urban chic. Wait till you see this, all right? This tells about who they are and how to market to them. You guys didn't know this was all out there, did you?
I see some Claritas stuff.
Claritas?
Yeah.
Cool. All right. And there's the spots where there's urban chic. Where are we? Wait, there's a little spot there. Is that Utica or Syracuse?
Right here?
Yeah, that's Syracuse, isn't it? Where's Buffalo? How come Buffalo's not on there? Not too chic in Buffalo. All right, close it, Matt. I thought you'd enjoy that, so I put that in this. That's how involved it gets. All right. We don't need that. Oh, where did it go? All right. This is what I want. All right. Here's some criteria for evaluating market segments, segment size and growth, structural attractiveness, company objectives and resources. These are 3 that help you evaluate which segment I want to go after. All right. Here's some different coverage strategies. All right. This is, and let's go up from the top. Again, company marketing mix. You have one marketing mix, and it serves everybody, undifferentiated. Now you have a differentiated market. You have 3 different marketing mixes serving 3 different segments. Okay? And this one, concentrated, you have competition that can serve 3 different segments. All right? But not everybody. You're concentrating on certain segments with your one marketing mix. Here's some things that help you choose a market coverage strategy. We know anything about product life cycle? We'll talk about that another time. All right. Positioning. I want to get going because we have, well, how much time we got?
8:08.
8:08. All right. Here's some different things you can use to get positioning advantage. All right. And, all right. So we want to identify possible competitive advantages that we have. They call that competitive differentiation. Now we want to come up with a unique selling proposition. We want to communicate and deliver it. And then we want to support that with a unique marketing mix. Are we about done? Different ways you can develop a competitive advantage. All right. And here's our 4 Ps. And this is something on process. This is the last slide. How do we select where we're going to go? All right. So stage 1 is preliminary screening for attractive country markets. And this is about which 4 markets warrant detailed investigation. All right. Step 2 now are assessment of industry market potential. What is the demand in each of the selected markets? And then 3, company sales potential. How attractive is the pension demand for company products and services? And I think that's got a 4th one too. The 4th one has to, can we, not only is it attractive, right, but we can get it. We can get that market. That's it. So that's segmenting, targeting, and positioning. And you might, we'll refer to, you'll recognize parts of this and some things we do in the simulation. Okay? Hope that's going to be helpful. And next week I'll give you, we'll talk about the simulation teams and how to order the simulation. And we're getting pretty close to, next week I'm going to talk about entry strategies, mode of entering different markets, how you can enter from exporting to greenfield investment. We'll talk about that a little bit. All right? But I want you to be picking up things up by reading the textbook. I don't need to go through all that. And we can get in your groups, and I'll try to visit with each group if you have any questions about your grades or anything. The grades on the questions, responses were pretty good. You got one wrong again on the quiz. If you can guess what question it was, I'll give you a prize. So you got, you're up to 2 wrong or 3 wrong? Huh?
I was 100 this quiz.
You sure?
Yeah.
Well, I marked you 95.
Okay.
Okay. Did you get 100?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, let's get in our groups. And it's 8:12, I took half the class. Right? That works out well.